Friends, day one at Road America here, our beloved trip, our annual visit to Wisconsin for 4 miles, America's temple of speed here. Alex Palou, fastest today, got ahead of Colton Herta, who led most of this Friday session here. And right behind them, Santino Ferrucci. Telling you, they are doing real impressive things at AJ Foyt Racing, in particular with that number 14 Chevy of his. But two Hondas up front, Colton Herta up front for the majority of it. Once we got into the last 10 minutes or so of the session, where teams can use the red banded, the alternate faster tires to get a bit of a read for qualifying, Herta was in charge up till that point. Palou just skipped ahead by a little bit, but Joseph Newgarden in P4. It's not the main stuff to talk about today, though. What happened on the ground, on track. We're hoping coming out of Detroit, where Santino got himself into some hot water. Agustin Canapino's fans, some of his fans, got him into hot water. Death threats against Theo Pourchaire from Aero McLaren, who we'll speak to here shortly. Friends, we have Teddy Pork Chops. There's rumor he might have been born Theo Pourchaire. I don't believe any of that. I want to know, you've been really excited to get your first laps here at Road America. Did they live up to expectations?
Yeah, sure. I mean, what a track, so quick. It was very windy today, so it made it very complicated for us. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool track, really, smooth and very high speed. So I enjoyed it. We just, need to find a little bit more performance, but I think it's a good first session.
P18 for you, again, rookie, first time at the track, learning everything. P18 is something you can't be dissatisfied with. What do you do tonight? Do you just go back to the hotel, get some good rest, and let all the speed soak into everywhere for tomorrow? What's the process?
Tonight I'm gonna work a lot, work out with the engineers. Very important to find a little bit more performance, as I said, in the car, in myself as well, because it was my first time here, so just need to improve my driving. And after that, going to the Italian restaurant, eating my pasta bolognese, and doing the pole position tomorrow, hopefully, cross fingers. So that's the plan. But yeah, the most important is to work hard, and it's a good start. I have Pado and Alex in front of me, so I have good data to work on.
Tell us about that side, Theo. So you obviously have amazing data from all three cars. You have onboard video. How much are you of the type to want to spend all night poring through everything? How much do you just like to close your eyes and reflect on your own driving? What's your process there?
I mean, I like to. I mean, it was the first good session. So I have my first feeling about the track, about the car on this track, and I like to talk a little bit with the engineers, know what I can improve, tell them what I want on the car, and then just get some rest. And tomorrow is another day. So yeah, I will not spend too much time with them, just telling them what I want, basically. So
do what he wants. Let's close on this. Obviously a bit of a tumultuous week coming out of Detroit. When I spoke with you this morning, one of the things I'd wanted for you was just to be able to get back on track. It's kind of like the perfect mind eraser. Feel like you're able to just now focus forward.
Of course. I'm focused on this weekend. We just had a first practice session that went pretty well. So, my focus has always been on the driving, and on the racing. So, what happened in Detroit, it's very unfortunate, and we move on now. We're here in Road America, ready to get some more good results, and ready to keep pushing as a team as well. So, as I said, good start of the weekend. We just have we need a strong Saturday and a strong Sunday to be happy.
There's only one flaw in his plan. You don't come to Wisconsin for Italian food. It's cheese curds. It's just all kinds of big, thick, amazing, bad American food. So there's at least like half a second in cheese curds. So,
okay, no problem. So
look, my body tells you, well, granted, I have no speed in my body, but just saying, you might consider the local cuisine. Some good beers too.
Of course.
Okay.
If we do the pole position or if I do good results in the race, small beer. Even if no, I'm wrong. I'm not allowed in the US. I'm French, so I'm 20 years old, not allowed to drink yet. So I have to wait after August.
What is wrong with you, America? I love you. I am you, but what? Come on. 20-year-old from France here driving IndyCars with almost no notice whatsoever. Kid deserves a beer. All right, Theo Pourchaire, Teddy Pork Chops, one of the great new additions to our paddock. Thank you, son.
Thank you very much.
Things escalated here about 1 hour before the start of practice. Got notice that the Juncos Hollinger Racing Team would be standing down Agustin Canapino in that number 78 Chevy, standing him down for the event. It's only for this event at the moment. I don't want to say it's for sure just one and only event. Let's dive into some of this because this has honestly been the topic of the week. I was hoping this would die down here in Road America, moving on to the next event. Not the case. So the actual what happened here session-wise, they tabbed young Nolan Siegel. Almost no time to prepare. Tried to do a very quick fitting to the car, but Nolan went and did the Indy NXT practice session, then jumped out, and instead of starting right at 3 o'clock here at the start of the IndyCar session, his number 78 Chevy wheeled out, I think at about 11 minutes after here Central Time, and then he actually got rolling at about 3:16. So late start as expected with no practice, no simulator, no anything. Nolan, as you would expect, was last in the group. Actually, he wasn't. He was one spot ahead of his teammate Romain Grosjean, who had a pretty serious crash. He's okay physically, he's fine. Tore the left front corner off of his number 77 Juncos Hollinger Racing Chevy. So a tumultuous day already for the team owned by Ricardo Juncos and Brad Hollinger. What the team said, Agustin is really feeling the weight of all the threats coming back to him, right? A lot of threats to him, saying that he's feeling the weight of all this. His mentals weren't necessarily in the right place, and the team chose to take him out of the car and put Nolan in. Had some folks say, oh, come on, this wasn't the team. This is really IndyCar that did this, right? This is them kind of setting the correction here on how things should have gone in the reaction to Detroit. Can tell you, I have confirmed it was not IndyCar that pulled Agustin out. It was the team. A couple things just to keep in mind. And I know in situations like this, in particular when it's social media and super aggression and death threats and DMs and nastiness, that it's not a surprise if folks want a little bit of payback to see comeuppance. You could say that is what we have here with Agustin, but would say I'm thinking more about the 65 to 70 men and women who work at this team, the majority of whom are amazing and kind. Been going through this turmoil as well. What we've seen in social media, what we've seen in stories and such, it does center on the drivers. Maybe Ricardo is a team owner as well. But this really is something where the full weight of this is being felt by the team. It is not a fun thing by any means. I had a driver interview to do this morning at about 10 a.m. Coming from the media center, walking through the underground tunnel, making a left to go up the paddock, bit of a walk. The first set of transporters there in that corner to turn happened to be Juncos Hollinger. And to take a bit of a shortcut, was running a little bit late, just walked right through, right behind their transporters where weren't really meant to go, and saw that the Juncos Hollinger Racing Team social media group was there filming. And I think they were doing some sort of social media commercial or something for that. Happened to see Romain Grosjean. He was holding a little air tool, saw me, kind of pointed it at me as I was walking by and smiled and went zzz. And right next to him, smiling and playing along as well, Agustin Canapino. So I did ask the team, asked team manager. I know you probably can't answer this, but at 10 a.m., Agustin was smiling and playing and everything's good. Tell me about how 4 hours later, all of a sudden, he's feeling the threats and everything is too much for him to drive this weekend. Indeed, could not answer. So why was Agustin Canapino taken out of that number 78 Chevy? I believe it was simply a case of need a little bit more time to process this, come to grips with what this is, change your outlook here, frame this correctly, stop being on the offensive to any of those who are saying what they're saying about it being real death threats or not. Take some time away. It's one thing if you're playing in another sport, you're playing tennis and your mind's not in the right place. It's another when you're doing almost 200 miles an hour into turn one. So I respect the decision made by Juncos Hollinger Racing. It's the right one. Will we have Nolan Siegel just here? Will he be in the car on Tuesday? The Milwaukee test here, that hybrid oval test. What about Nolan's home race the next, 2 weekends after that at Monterey? We don't know. This is just one race, but I applaud Juncos Hollinger Racing for making the right decision. Give Agustin the time he needs to get his mentals right, frame the situation the way it should be framed, and move on to a better and happier place. Let's hope we come back tomorrow and truly all we have to talk about is just great racing here at one of the most beautiful racetracks in the world.
Subscribe to Racer and save 24% off the cover price. You'll get the print and digital editions with an issue archive through 2012. Visit info.racer.com to learn more.